If you're looking to tap into more of the regal, elegant, and empowered parts of you, or you're simply looking to activate more of the leader inside of you, then learning about the Regent archetype is going to be super valuable. So let's get to it. Hi there, I'm Antonie and I talk about all things feminine self-development, including feminine energy, cycle syncing, and feminine archetypes. And what I ultimately want with this channel is to help women truly understand and cherish the powers of the feminine within them. So if that's something that you could use a little bit more of, make sure to click that subscribe button and keep on watching. So in today's video, we're going to cover the fourth feminine archetype called the Regent. And this archetype is often referred to as the Queen. And just in case you've just arrived into the channel, this video is part of a video series about the 7 feminine archetypes. And these archetypes are a bit like personas or characters, or essentially parts of our personality. And they show up with different strengths and qualities, desires, needs, and potential downsides. And these archetypes are based on goddesses from Greek and Roman mythology, but they show up in every woman or person who lives predominantly in the feminine energy, even today, in different ways and in different proportions. So in the previous videos, we've covered 3 of the other archetypes already, as well as some important information about the archetypes as a whole. So don't miss out on those videos, and I'll link them up there as well as in the description box below. So the 7 feminine archetypes are the Huntress, the Sage, the Intuitive, the Regent, which we're covering today, the Mother, the Maiden and Guide, and finally the Lover. And we have access to all 7 feminine archetypes, and we should tap into them in order to balance out the potential downsides of each of them, as well as to live the most vibrant, passionate, and empowered life that we can. But the extent and ways in which each archetype shows up is going to be different for every single woman. And most of us will have one archetype that we live in the most and that we resonate the most with, which is why I've put together a quiz that will help you determine your dominant feminine archetype. So if you haven't done it already, make sure to check that one out in the description box below. So the Regent is sophisticated, elegant, calm, resilient, and empowered. She deeply desires to have a partner with whom she can create a strong and committed partnership, and she will not fail to stay faithful and committed to her partner. Which is also why she's usually not the type of woman to have kind of flings or short-term relationships, because what she seeks is long-term committed partnerships. And she will look for a partner who values that too. So the Regent has 2 very distinctive ways that she can fall to her weaknesses. And the first one is due to her strong commitment to a partner. And in essence, she can sometimes end up choosing the wrong partner to stay committed to, meaning someone who isn't equally committed to her as she is to them. And therefore, she can end up staying in a relationship longer than she should. And she can sacrifice her own happiness and well-being for the sake of her partner, who doesn't value the relationship and her the way that she does. And then the other distinctive downfall for the Regent is that she can turn vindictive and resentful, especially towards other women. So in essence, she's the type of woman who, if her partner has an affair, she will get more upset with the other woman than with her partner who actually committed the adultery. And so instead of dealing with her anger and her hurt directly with her partner, she may become vindictive and seek revenge upon the person whom her partner had an affair with. And the Regent can also become quite resentful towards other women in general. And she can easily resent a lot of the very typically light feminine qualities in other women. So if she sees a woman who is joyful and takes life with ease, she might deem this woman as helpless or annoying. If she sees a woman who is sensual and passionate, she will deem them a flirt or someone who screws up marriages, as if the men are just innocent bystanders who just couldn't help themselves and the woman was completely to blame. Or if she sees women who are super dedicated to their career and maybe prioritize career over relationships or children, she will deem them selfish or workaholics or just someone who doesn't understand what the role of a woman is supposed to be like. And so with the Regent especially, it's super, super important for you to tap into different archetypes in order to value and cherish those parts of yourself, so that one, you actually start loving and cherishing yourself, and you also start loving and cherishing qualities in other women and the feminine energy overall. Because that way, by tapping into the different archetypes and ensuring that the Regent doesn't get overextended and therefore falling into her weaknesses, you can actually live that passionate, empowered, joyful life that you deserve. So for the Regent, I have a few different examples from media to show you. So the first example of the Regent archetype is Arwen from The Lord of the Rings. And essentially, she represents the Regent archetype due to her strong commitment and loyalty to her partner. And she is someone who continuously chooses to stick with her partner and to fight for her partnership, despite the obstacles that come in their way. And she's also someone who is empowered and regal and elegant. Another example of the Regent archetype in media is Snow White from Once Upon a Time. And just keep in mind, this character also has a lot of the Huntress in her. But when it comes to partnership, Snow White is dedicated and committed, and she fights for her relationship. And she also knows deep down in her being and believes that her partner is equally committed to their relationship as she is, and that he will continue fighting for it. Even though they always seem to lose each other and get lost in different realms and different lands, they both believe, and she believes, that they are equally committed to finding each other. Another example of the Regent archetype is Catelyn Stark in Game of Thrones. This character is also someone who is committed to her partner to a fault, and she remains committed and dedicated to the partnership despite some of the issues that she faces with her partner. And this character is also one that you can see a lot of that leadership in her, and she's someone who is empowered and a great leader. She's resilient, she's resourceful, and she remains in that calm, supportive role to her partner. And then another great example of the Regent archetype is Blair Waldorf in Gossip Girl. This character is also elegant and sophisticated and kind of regal. And she's also a great leader and someone who takes leadership when other people freak out or they don't know what to do. She remains calm and she takes on that leadership. And you can also see in the times when she is in a relationship, she is very committed and she gets very devoted into the relationship. And she puts a lot of focus on being a good partner and showing society that she's an excellent, strong partner. And she puts a lot of effort into kind of putting up this facade and making sure that society and the outside world deems her worthy as a partner. And the last example I want to mention for the Regent archetype is Jennifer Aniston's role in He's Just Not That Into You, called Beth. Because this character is also very dedicated to her partnership and she desires a strong, committed relationship. And she holds a high regard to her partner and she wants him to value her equally. If you've seen the movie, you also know that in the end, she learns how to value what's truly important to her rather than what society deems valuable or what society deems to be the picture of an ideal relationship. A really simple and quick way to activate more of the Regent archetype within you is to bring more elegance into your life. So elevate your wardrobe. Bring in more pieces that feel regal and elegant to you. Perhaps invest in a few items of higher quality rather than shopping whatever's cheapest. Choose to eat dinner at the table, maybe even drinking from wine glasses, regardless of what you actually drink, but just drinking from wine glasses and making it look elegant and regal, instead of just eating dinner on the couch watching a TV show. Or simply just make sure to put your shoulders back and keep your head high, and simply walk and act as if you were the effing queen in the room, because you are. Another way to activate the Regent archetype within you is to dedicate yourself to a relationship or to attracting a relationship. So focus on the kind of partner you want to be. Who do you want to show up as for your partner, whether current or future? And stay committed. Focus on how you can strengthen and elevate the relationship that you're in rather than looking for the next best thing. And if you're in a relationship, really sit down and evaluate with yourself whether your partner is equally invested in the relationship as you are. Because the Regent part of you will not settle for someone who isn't dedicated to you as well. and she knows her worth. So make sure to set your standards, but also be kind and compassionate in your expectations by tapping into the other archetypes too. And finally, before we wrap up, I need to remind you, and I've mentioned this in some of the other videos as well, that you are not the archetypes. You are the consciousness that decides which of the archetypes to listen to and which ones to activate at what time. So imagine that you have a round table of advisors, and you are their leader who values their input, but always makes conscious and aligned decisions for herself, using their unique perspectives, desires, needs, and knowledge. And in this way, you can draw on more than one side of yourself, and you can balance out the shadow sides that inevitably show up in your life if you don't learn how to activate all 7 of the feminine archetypes, and you stay stuck in operating at a 1 or a couple of them. And then finally, make sure that you take the quiz to discover your leading feminine archetype, and I hope you will leave a comment below as well and let me know which one you got. And then if you want to learn more about all of the 7 feminine archetypes, then I also have a full blog post on all of them that I'll link in the description box below. So I hope this video brought you some value, and if it did, make sure to click the like button, it really helps me out. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the next archetypes videos, and in the meantime, check out these videos.